Old Men by Ogden Nash, 1902 to 1971. People expect old men to die. They do not really mourn old men. Old men are different. People look at them with eyes that wonder when. People watch with unshocked eyes. But the old men know when an old man dies. Okay, this is a poem by Ogden Nash. Ogden Nash was born in New York State. He lived most of his life in Baltimore. He was a poet, and he's known for his funny, upbeat poems for children and for adults. But this poem is rather different. Let's see, this poem is about death. It's about the deaths of old men, and that people expect old men to die, and people aren't surprised when the old die. He's saying that he thinks people should be more compassionate about the death of an old man. People generally are very upset if a young person dies, but if an old man dies, well, they've had a good life. They've lived their life, and therefore it's not as important. And he's saying that these old men are just as worthy of your sadness when they die as anyone else. That they're not expendable, despite the fact they're going to die soon. And he thinks this is a rather heartless point of view. And if people think about it, they're all going to end up in the same situation one of these days. Although people feel much more empathy for a young person that dies. So, people expect old men to die. They do not really mourn old men. And this is the point. When somebody's old, it's expected that somebody's going to die, and it's not a sad thing when an old person goes. There's no surprise. This is what's supposed to happen. But people don't see this as something tragic. It doesn't take the sorrow out of death. And he's saying that people are cruel, that old men are different, so people view old men in a different way. People look at them with eyes that wonder when. So people look at them with eyes that wonder when they're going to die. Yeah, when's this person going to die? So they expect this to happen. People watched with unshocked eyes, so people are completely accepting of this. And I think he says that he doesn't think that this is real. People are not shocked when they see somebody who's old. They're not shocked by the death of the old. But the old men know when an old man dies. And now he's saying that the view of old people is very different. That the old people know when somebody old dies. Old people know that one of their peer group has died. And I think Nash is asking people to look inside themselves and perhaps find more compassion for old people. So old men know about when old people die. They're always reading the obituaries and things like that. But young people, not at all. So I think this is saying that we should have more feeling, more sadness for the death of old people. So, Old Men by Ogden Nash.